Transcription and translation. Now, you guys remember, I'm sure, you've thought a lot about the genetic material, and one of the primary goals of having a genetic material is the ability not just to carry a code. We know about DNA's code and how it's replicated, and not to be able to pass that code on because we know about that DNA code and how it's passed on. But now we come to some of the magic of the rest of the story of DNA and the way it works in a cell. How does that DNA talk to that cell machinery and make those proteins? How does that DNA manage to make those polypeptides? There's the answer right there, you guys. Transcription and translation. Two words that don't sound biological to you, and that's good news, because they just should make sense. When you transcribe something, what does a scribe do? A scribe copies something, okay? And copying something is nice, but unless there's something to read that copy, it's useless. Think of the ancient monks in the monasteries scribing all of the written work that was ever made, okay? Well, they had a master copy, and they had to make those master copies and move them outward so that people could partake of that knowledge. Well, that's the same analogy I want you to think with DNA and RNA. We're going to transcribe it, and then we have to translate it into a language that makes sense. Sense to who? Sense to the cell. The language of enzymes. That's where we're going with this. Now, I want you to understand that, I said a second ago, prokaryotes and eukaryotes do this the same way to a degree. Remember that prokaryotes do not have nuclear membranes and therefore don't have the compartmentalization that you and I have as eukaryotic cells. But nevertheless, it's the same thing. We start with DNA. We transcribe it into a message called RNA. Now, we're going to talk about the different types of RNA in just a second, but notice this particular one is called mRNA, which stands for messenger RNA. And then that message is going to be translated. And this all happens, and the translation occurs with a structure called a ribosome. I know you've heard of those. And a polypeptide is made.
Mind bites.